If you're like me, you use a lot of apps. And apps that kind of transcend your phone, your browser, your iPad, whatever that looks like. But I use them for all sorts of different things, like managing VAs, like productivity, like, video content, all this different stuff that I use apps for. And the problem that happens a lot of times on my desktop is that I have like 7 or 8 different things running like in the background. Even though if I just have like Chrome open and I'm working on like a browser, I'll be switch over to like Asana or switch over to Slack or switch over to Notion or something like that. And all these things are just running in the background. And having to switch between them can, one, use a lot of memory and space and RAM inside the computer, but also I can lose track of the things I'm actually trying to focus on. So today we're going to be checking out a browser that I've started using called Shift, which actually encapsulates all of these things in one space. So let's check it out. All right, what's up guys, Lewi here. We are in my computer now and we're looking at this browser Shift, and I'm going to go through a few pros and cons, what I like, what I think could maybe be improved about this, and show you everything that I use it for. So as you can see, it looks pretty similar to Chrome. All my bookmarks are in here. It operates like Chrome. It has Chrome extensions and different things like that, which I'll show you. But you can see on the left hand side down here, it also has a lot of apps that I use. So Evernote, Google Calendar, Slack, Google Drive, Asana, Canva, Notion, Trello, Zoom. So all of those are built into the actual browser, and I'll show you how this works. So like I said, you can use this just as a regular browser right here. So maybe I'll go to my website, pull it up, boom, all this stuff, awesome. Just a regular website. You can add new tabs just like you would on any other browser. And in terms of like using it as a browser, for me, in Chrome, I use a lot of extensions. So I click here for my extensions and they're all built in here too. So Evernote Web Clipper, vidIQ is there, my Zoom scheduler is right there, my LastPass is right there. And if you guys know me, I love Newsfeed Eradicator. I'm going to show you something with that in just a moment here as we get going. So it operates just like a regular web browser, and it's actually really quick, really responsive, and I like it a lot. The layout's really, really great. One thing I really do like about it as well is that because it's signed in from your Gmail, whichever Gmail account you're using, the top left-hand corner here tells you how many emails are in your inbox right now. So if I click on this, it'll take me straight to my Gmail inbox, and it'll have all of my email right here. And you can see I've got 14 emails, just like it says up here. And I really like that because even though you know me, I don't really like to have email open all the time. It's nice to have that there, just letting you know like what's waiting for you, what's there to check. And if you're waiting for a very important email to come through, it can just pop up on the side instead of having it open in a separate browser. So yeah, really powerful browser. Now, what really drew me to this again was the integration of apps that I use. Okay, so you see on the left hand side, apps that I use are right here. So Evernote, of course, at the top, I just click this and it jumps right over to Evernote right here. And I can just operate this in any capacity, just like I usually would inside of Evernote. It's, super like responsive, just like it would be on the browser or the app, even for desktop. Okay, I've got my Google Calendar here, boom, right there, it just jumps in, and you can see you can just go through these apps, Google Drive. Now, when you first open the browser, if you quit the browser and open it, it does take a second to open these back up. But if your browser's open, you can see I can just switch between these super duper quick, like this, Asana, Canva, you can see I've not logged into that yet. Notion, I haven't logged into this yet, so it'll log me in here. Trello, same deal. But now once they're up and running, they're right here in the background and everything is super quick. Now, one thing that I had to get used to here was what's pretty interesting. If I now want to browse the internet, so you can see that I've got my Evernote open, right? And you can see that the top right here, the Evernote tab is open right here. But if I go Command T to open a new tab just in a browser, and let's just put in my website again just for the sake of it, boom, open it up, you can see that this is still selected right here. Okay, so if I click home, it'll go back to Evernote and all this, but you can see it keeps a new tab open now of the tabs I was working on. Now, this took me a little bit to get used to, because if you watch this right here, if I go to my next tab, if I go to Slack, boom, you can see that's disappeared. And I was like, oh, this is weird. Now my browser is disappearing and the tabs that I'm working on are disappearing. But what's actually really cool is that it actually allows me to open tabs that are relevant to the work that I'm doing in these apps, if that makes sense. So this took me a little while to get used to. I was using it. So for instance, in Slack, if I'm working with a VA, if I have to get them a login for something, I can go tab here, I can go over to LastPass right here, and pull it up and then log in and get passwords and stuff like that I use with them. And you can see that tab is open right there. But okay, I have to get Google Drive here, this link, and you can see now that tab's disappeared. But if I go back to my Evernote, which we were on earlier, that tab is still there. Slack, that tab is still there. And again, this takes a little bit to get used to, but I think as I progress in this and use it more, I'll probably find that having those tabs is very, very useful, because there's not an actual browser tab to click on. It's not like I have Evernote, Google Calendar, Slack, browser. This is the entire browser. It just integrates with these apps. So it's definitely something that kind of took me a little while to get my head around and kind of get through like what I was trying to figure out and do. So if I click back to my Gmail though, click here, you can see that now the app that was there, so in Evernote, you can see Evernote's at the top. If I click back to the Gmail, that kind of gets me home. So this is kind of like the browser, and you can see now that on the right hand side, Google apps all popped up here. So Mail, Calendar, Drive, and all of the Google apps that are right here have all popped up. If I go back to a different one here, they all disappear. I can get to my extensions, but not that. So this is more like almost like your Chrome home base when I click here, and that will be a whole nother part of this, and it opens up all the Google tabs and stuff like that. So in terms of the flow and the kind of workspace that you're working in here to get your workflow, to get that deep work done, it probably will take a little bit of time to get used to it, because instead of like opening different apps and going back to the browser and doing that, they're all integrated into each other, but you can lose yourself in the tabs sometimes, and all of a sudden you click back here, you've got the 4 tabs open here, you click back to Evernote, you've got 4 tabs open here, and it can be a lot if you're not careful with what you're doing. Another downside that I've found, and this is only really on one extension so far that I've found, okay, if I come over here and click on extensions, the newsfeed eradicator, you guys have seen that. If you've not seen the video, it's right here. Basically, it gets rid of my Facebook feed, my Instagram feed, my YouTube feed, so I can just go on there and do work. What's weird is that I can't figure it out. Like I can't like click on it and change. Like if this was in Chrome, I could click on this and it would come up with options like, hey, which feeds do you want to get rid of? So I can't figure that out. And even though the extension is installed, if I go here and go to Facebook, you can see my whole feed now is going to come up inside of Facebook, which is not what I want at all. I want this to be gone. If I go to the settings though here, and I go to, you would think that here I would be able to figure it out. So if I click on, details, boom, right here, there's no, like I can't get in here and change what I'm trying to do. It says that, automatically allows access on following sites Facebook. If I turn that off, and then, maybe toggle it on and off like this, okay, maybe that'll do something, hopefully. Let's maybe refresh Facebook. No. So I don't really understand what's happened right there with the extensions. I'm going to have to dig deeper into that part and figure it out. It's definitely something that's frustrating for me because I do use a lot of extensions. I haven't installed them all quite yet on the browser, but if I can't go in and actually really customize them, that's going to be a problem. There's some of them that just work, like Evernote Web Clipper works, LastPass works, vidIQ I want to customize a little bit, and Zoom Scheduler too. So I'm not too sure how to go ahead and operate through that. So I'm going to have to figure that out. Now, when it comes to the apps, it's pretty insane how many apps actually integrate into this browser. So you can see these are the ones that I typically use. These are the ones that I installed first because I use them all the time. But if I go to add an application, you can see that it has featured apps, but like it has hundreds of apps right here that you can install into here. Audible, let's see what else is in here. Bitly, I can jump in there. There's literally hundreds of apps that if you use, chances are they're going to be here. Ooh, ChatGPT's there. Well, I didn't know that. I'm going to go ahead and install that in just a second here. You know, so I mean, everything's in here. ClickUp, almost everything that you can imagine in terms of productivity. Discord, you can throw in here and have it right there ready to go. So again, guys, this is a really cool browser. I really enjoy using it because I love minimalistic. I love having only one thing open. So before this, I would have all of these open in the background, just waiting for me to select them and use them. Now I just have this one browser open, one browser to rule them all. And it lets me just kind of seamlessly do my work in one place. Now, there is one more downside that I want to talk about with this app. And that one downside is the pricing. In terms of a browser, it's pretty expensive, $150 per year for the advanced version, which is what I'm showing you right now. There is a basic version, but you can see you can't add Google services or Chrome extensions and have this unified search that you can do through it. So I think you should try the basic version. You can add one app to your account. That's all they let you do with the free version. But if it makes sense to you, then upgrading. For me, it does, because I just love having things in one place that I can just do my focused work on. I don't have to jump all over the place. So I think it's going to be worth it for me. I'm only like a few weeks into using this, so truly I don't have a huge knowledge bank and like body of work that I've done through this yet. So I'll probably do another one in about 3 months here, and kind of talk more about it. But for now, I think this is a really cool integration. In terms of just like browsers having this stuff integrated, I think it's the way that they're all going to have to go in the future. Having multiple apps and stuff open just doesn't make sense anymore. Having it all in one place is where it has to be, you know. And this is where like apps like Notion have really come to the forefront, because you can do everything in this one app. So I think browsers in general are going to have to go this way, and I think that this has done a great job in doing it. So try it out, try the free version, let me know what you think, and if you're ready for it. $150 a year. The speed that you can go through things, the workflow that you can use is very powerful, and I enjoy it for now anyway. It's definitely become my default browser that I use, and I'm going to be using it for at least another few months to see how it operates and what I think of it. So let me know if you have any questions below, guys. There's a link to try out the free version down there. Just click that and you'll be getting it for free, and I'll see you on the next one.